What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got so much to talk about today. There's so much going on in the market right now. So many people are saying that the market is crashing or cooling off. Me personally, I just think there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of deals out there. You know we're going to go through all of them with you now. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Well, let's get into it. Okay, to start off, we're going to talk about Phantasmal Flames. Now, I do need to give a little bit of a disclaimer after the last video that I made. I do find it quite funny, some of the comments that came through. The title for the last video was Phantasmal Flames or something like Best Pokemon Set I've Seen in Years. Okay, full disclaimer, it's just a title for a video. Okay, as you guys are completely aware, titles of videos, especially in the Pokemon space, are not that deep. Like, there's so many people that argued with me. You don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean Phantasmal's the best? Clearly Destin's the best. Clearly Prismatic's the best. Okay, it's just a video title. And it's a video title where I was just trying to steer away from putting out anything negative. There's way too much negativity in our hobby right now. People just love to insult sets and say the market's crashing and stuff like that. Really, long-term seal collecting is one of the best vehicles, in my opinion, for investing in a tangible asset that's going to increase in value. I was just trying to be positive about a set that a lot of people are talking negative on. Now, I've been doing this a very long time, and I actually really like Phantasmal Flames. I'm not lying, I'm just exaggerating the truth a little bit, okay? When I make a video, it is a whole morning's worth of work. I'm looking at data. That's where the hard work of the episode goes into. That's where the real opinions and content is coming from. A video title, don't get hung up on it. It's just a title. And I could easily make videos for you guys where the title is the market's crashing, and I could look at a Phantasmal chart like this and say, oh look, it's falling off of a cliff, it's crashing. I could easily make that kind of content like a lot of Pokemon YouTubers do, and it's just not true. Okay, this set is performing very well out the gate. It's still way above retail. It's just correcting down to where the market should be. It's not crashing. It's not indicative of the set is really bad. And I think a lot of people do agree that the Phantasmal Flames SIR Charizard is one of the best Charizard cards we've ever seen. Now, obviously, there's so many counter arguments, like it's a short set and it's too easy to hit and all of this nonsense and all of this noise, okay? If you just tune out some of the other PokeTubers for just a moment and just look at the set as a whole, I think it's a pretty good set. It's average to above average. There's some really nice cards. I personally think that there are 4 of the best Charizard cards I've ever seen. Now, a lot of people in their arguments were saying sort of Phantasmal, oh, there's one good hit, and that's so easy to hit, referring to the SIR Charizard. Like I said, personally, I think there's 4 of the best Charizards I've ever seen in there. There's the Gold Charizard, there's the SIR Charizard, and there's the Full Art Charizard as well, which I think is actually amazing. And then outside of the booster boxes, you've also got the UPC Promo Charizard as well, which is going for like $90 on the secondary market at the moment, which is absolutely insane. So I think the set as a whole is above average. As far as the best set I've ever seen, guys, it's just a video title. It was just putting something up. But I appreciate all the constructive comments down below, as always. But I do think it's a really good set. So let's focus on it at the moment, as it is the most recent set that's out. I've bought a lot of Phantasmal Flames, and I have bought them all for retail. So I can't really lose on that. Long term, and whenever I talk about a set, and if I say a set is good or not, I'm always talking about the long term. I always say, you know, you've got to hold it for at least 2 years minimum, or be prepared that that's a worst case scenario. Ideally, hold it for more, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years plus. Any more than that, even better. And I think on that kind of time horizon, Phantasmal Flames is going to do really well. It's very important as well to understand that a lot of YouTube videos, they're very sheepish. People just decide whether a set is good or bad straight away, and then everyone just goes with that opinion. Okay, I am not one of those people, and that's why some of the things that I say are quite controversial. We've proven this on the channel a lot. You know, I was a big supporter of Destined Rivals out the gate. I was telling people to buy it for over retail. Same with Prismatic Evolution as well. I was telling people to buy that when it was $100. And I got a lot of hate for that. And now you can see that the market is performing really well. Now, I'm not saying that I'm 100% right on Phantasmal, but I think that it's going to perform above average compared to some of the other stuff in its kind of ballpark when you zoom out over a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year. Also, you need to remember as well that market sentiment, particularly the vocal minority on YouTube, often get it wrong as well and are never accountable for what they say. Okay, everyone hated Paldea Evolved when it came out. Everyone hated it. It was sat on shelves for sub-retail. Now it's one of the best performing boxes of the Scarlet and Violet era. Everyone hated Obsidian Flames when it came out. Obsidian Flames was the meme set when it came out. For over a year, it was sat for below retail, even on the secondary market. And now, again, it's one of the best performing Scarlet and Violet boxes. It's still regularly trading for over $300. What I found funny about Phantasmal Flames was one of the sort of sayings that's getting recycled and floated around on YouTube and comment sections at the moment is Phantasmal Flames is Obsidian Flames 2.0. Well, I wish that that's true, because that's actually super positive for it. Because I'm sorry, but Obsidian Flames is still in print and it's going for over $300, and it's peaked at over that as well. It's actually one of the best performing boxes and is starting to pull ahead. But that just kind of shows how some of the comment section don't always know what they're talking about with some of these videos. They see perhaps some of their favorite content creators really talk down the set, and then they just echo that same opinion over and over when it's not really based on anything. You'll find that negative content on YouTube performs much better. Me personally, I'd much rather just give my own opinion on things. And if you are not a big fan of Phantasmal Flames, that is completely fine. We don't have much data on it. It hasn't been out for that long. We will obviously review it every week as it goes forward. But it'd be really interesting to see how it's sort of performing 12 months from now, 24 months from now, once it starts to go out of print, that kind of thing. I think it will perform really well. In the short term, Phantasmal Flames, Mega Evolution, these kind of sets, I do think that they will come down in price. I think that we will see a reduction in price. If you're trying to time the market, great. You know, potentially we could see some retail price Phantasmal way after release, and same with Mega. If that does happen, I would welcome it, because I will just buy more of it. I believe in it for the long term. I come from a time of doing this. I've been doing this for so long now that seeing retail priced sets that I believe in and that I think are good is just a welcome thing. Okay, back in previous years, you know, back in the Sun and Moon era, that kind of thing, it was very normal to not see gains on your booster boxes, or maybe see a $5, $10 gain over a 6-month, 8-month period. That's quite normal. The time that we've had in the hobby recently over the last year or so has been, you know, a massive hype cycle. Things have just been going up and up and up, really aggressively priced as well. This is really what we need in the market. We need a bit of a shakeout. We need to see prices come down, because it shakes out all the people that aren't here for the hobby, that don't like actually collecting the sealed. It's not all about that, you know, the real scalpers, the people that are just trying to stand in line on day one and sell it on eBay by the end of the night. We need to shake those people out of the market. And if we see stuff like Phantasmal and Mega start to come down in price to around about retail, or even that $200 range, something like that, I think it's actually really positive for the hobby, and I don't feel bad about if I buy into Phantasmal for more than that, because like I said, I'm always in for the long haul, and I think that when we're talking 3 years, 5 years from now, Phantasmal's going to be up there, $500 plus a box, in my honest opinion. If you don't agree with that, that's completely fine. I'm not here to try and sell you any products. I don't own a TCG store like a lot of other Pokemon YouTubers, etc. I'm just here to talk data and talk my opinions on where I'm putting my money, and just give you the data so that you can make your own opinions. That's basically it. I'm a big believer in Phantasmal. Obviously, we're seeing price corrections this week. We're starting to see it come down in price a little bit, just because it was way over retail, and it's still way over retail and regularly trading for over that. That more talks about the strength of the market right now, the fact that a set can come out and perform that well, rather than actually the strength of the set. It's going to be hard to see the real strength of the set. I mean, we can make speculations, as I have, but the real strength of the set is having a look at where the data is sat, once we've got about a year's worth of data. You know, Christmas next year, where's Phantasmal sat? And if it's starting to pull ahead and it's starting to push $300, $400, $500 a box, that's when we can really see how strong the set is and how much the demand is going to be for the long haul. But I'm a big believer in it. I own a lot of it. I've spent a lot of money on it. But like I said, everything that I've bought has been for retail. Would I buy in for these prices? It depends, but we'll talk more on that at the end of the episode, because we're going to start looking at some of the other products available in the booster box. I do think it's a little bit overvalued at this kind of price point here at the 280, 270. Like I said, I expect it to be coming down in price, probably closer to that $200 range over the next coming months. Let's have a look at last sales data then. Last sales data around about that 260 range. Sales from today. In fact, this whole page on TCG Player is sales from today, this morning in the US, and we're seeing a range of sales today from that 260 range right up to 275, that kind of thing. Like I said, I do think it's got more room to fall, but I am a big believer in it. I welcome it falling, and if we can pick this up for a bit cheaper in a few months' time and over the next 12 months or so, I will happily do that and get more of it, because I do like the set, and I think that the SIR Charizard, despite it being easy to pull, will be one of the key chase cards of the era going forward. Let's then have a look at prices. Last sold in the US on eBay, $265, and then another one, new listing tag here, $244. A little bit of retail arbitrage going on there from the UK. We tend to just look at domestic sales, so US to US, UK to UK. The reason why you will see multiple sales, look, here's another one up here, 250 from the UK. The reason why you'll see that is because it's cheaper over here, so a lot of people are arbitraging it over to the US. If you're new to the channel, I do look at US prices and UK prices, but there is mainly a focus on US stuff, as it is the largest English card market in the world right now, and I think it will remain that way. But anyway, 265 last sold on eBay. I do think these will get a little bit cheaper, particularly when the second wave hits. But for the long haul, I think it's a good set, and it's destined to go over $500 a box. Might take 2 years for it to get to that kind of range. Might take 3-4 years to get to that kind of range. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be up in that 500 range in about 2 years' time once it starts to go out of print. But we'll have to see. It's a little bit too early to tell on that. But I like it as a set as a whole. Last sold in the UK, £199. These are coming down a little bit in price, and we're seeing another one. Look, here's another one, new listing tag, 190, bought out straight away. I think if you're in the UK, that is actually a really strong buy at 190. I'd be quite happy to buy at that price. If I had more money in my Pokebank, if you don't know, I keep a separate account. It's just the way I do things. I save a little bit of money each month. If there's stuff that I want to buy, I just buy directly out of that account. That is for sealed product and personal collection stuff like slabs and stuff. I put a few $100s in there each month. pretty much drained it all out with Phantasmal Flames, just because there was opportunity on launch day. I could just run around to all the stores, and I picked up loads of ETBs, loose packs, managed to get a UPC from Pokemon Center as well. Like I said, all of that for retail. So for retail price, Phantasmal, that was a no-brainer. As far as paying over retail, I don't think 190 is too bad here in the UK. $265 in the US, I think that's a little bit steep, and I do think that will come down in price a little bit, particularly when that second wave hits. But I believe in the set as a whole, and I think it will perform well in the long haul. Right, let's move on then to Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution, I actually think, is on a par, if not better, than Phantasmal Flames. It's probably one of the best base sets I've seen of the modern era. It's too early to tell where it's going to go long term price wise. I think that it will perform well though. I think that again we're looking at $500 plus a box. How long it will take to get there is quite unseen. More than likely it's going to take 1 to 2 years, more likely leaning more towards the 2 years once it starts going out of print. There is a lot of this product around. Pokemon Center really, or Pokemon Company even, really did a good job at getting a lot of Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames out to shops and being on shelves. I know that they are obviously trading for a lot more than retail on the secondary market. However, I think there's just so much demand still in the market for these sets, and there's a lot of people opening them. I've personally opened a lot of Mega Evolution and a lot of Phantasmal Flames, and they're really fun sets to open. I will continue to open some of them as well, because I am a collector as well as a sealed collector and investor as well. It changes how much I'm like weighted each way. Obviously the majority of my money is tied up in sealed product, which I will probably sell at some point down the line. But I see a lot of the product that I'm sat on more as a collection than an investment, because it's stuff that I really am quite attached to and quite fond of. But that doesn't mean I won't sell it in 5 years, 10 years from now. Anyway. Mega Evolution, I think they really hit it out the park with Mega Evolution. Obviously, there is a lot of good artwork in Mega Evolution, and I think that although we're seeing prices come down a little bit, last week it was at $254. Again, once this stops hitting the shelves, once we're talking about a year from now, a year and a half from now, and it just gets a lot rarer, you've got to remember there's a lot of this product about right now. There's a lot of it being traded on the secondary market, because there's a lot of people that bought into this that don't really want to hold it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So we're seeing a lot of it being traded on the secondary market at the moment. And once that starts to slow down, once more of these boxes get opened, less of it gets printed, and more people start putting it away for the long haul as prices start to climb, it's going to be a vicious circle. And it's really going to be a perfect storm that I think is going to push the entire Mega Evolution era as a whole, not just base, not just Phantasmal, but the other sets that are coming as well. We got some crazy Mega Dragonite set coming soon as well. I'm not going to talk too much about that because we're just going to wait and see what happens with that. I don't like talking too much and speculating about sets that aren't out yet, but obviously in the lead up to release, in the few weeks before release, we'll start talking about it a little bit more once we can really see what the set list is and stuff like that. But I think the Mega era as a whole, and we've only seen a small part of it right now, I think over the long haul will perform really well. So let's then have a look at prices on Mega Evolution. I'm a big fan of Mega Evolution. Again, like with Phantasmal, I think that it will reduce down in price even more over the next few months, as more and more people start getting shaken out of the market and realize, oh, I can't just make an infinite money glitch with Mega Evolution. I've actually got to hold on for it for 2 to 3 years and have my money wrapped up in it to actually see some serious gains. Which is obviously how the sealed hobby usually works. In a hype cycle, it attracts all the scalpers and crazy investors that are just trying to flip it. Flip. And those people will get shook out of the market, and that's what will bring bring the prices down. I really do think so. Let's then have a look at prices. 254 last week on the averages, 250 this week, so down 2%. We always say that, you know, a 2 to 3% change in prices, just normal market swings here and there. So we'll say that Mega Evolution is pretty flat and holding at that 250 range. I've seen some comments from other Pokemon investment YouTubers saying it's hanging on for dear life at 250, and I'm thinking like, well, no, not really, but that's not how I see it in the market. I do think it will come down though. I do think that we will, at least for a short amount of time, however long that is, see some Mega Evolution in that $200 range potentially over the coming months. But like I said, long haul, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, there's no way, in my opinion, this isn't worth more than 250. Just my opinion, putting it out there, but we'll see with the data. You know, we track it each and every week for you. We'll see 6 months from now, a year from now, how well Mega Evolution is performing. Last sold in the US, $225 for an enhanced box. See, I think that's a really good deal to buy in at that kind of price point. Like I said, you're willing to put that away for a couple of years. I think you're doing well out of that. Last sold in the UK, $192 for non-enhanced, and then enhanced 220. Again, the lowest it's been for a little while. Good opportunity to buy in for that kind of price point, I think. Oh, that's actually a Phantasmal box. That's the problem with searching for Mega Evolution. It brings up Phantasmal as well. Okay, Phantasmal 192. There, 219 for an enhanced Mega. Non-enhanced, there you go, 190. Not bad. Think that's a good price point to buy in at. I think anything under 200 quid or anything under like $220, $230 is not bad for Mega Evolution. Is that actually a Phantasmal Flames box, but they've listed it as Mega Evolution? It looks like it, doesn't it? Look, Mega Evolution box, brand new, sealed, trusted seller. It's actually a Phantasmal box. That's so funny. That just really goes to show how many people are in the market that don't even know what they've got. You know, that is scalper vibes all over right there. They're like, oh yeah, it's a Mega Evolution box, list it up. It's a Phantasmal box, my guy. Although, lots of Pokemon stuff in the background. Interesting. There's even a little Ace Slab here in the background as well. Shame on you, whoever that person is. Anyway, that's really interesting. Went on a bit of a tangent there, as I usually do. If you're new to the channel, I love to go on tangents. These episodes aren't really ever planned out. I mean, we have lots of tabs loaded up, but they are just all the sets and all the data. As far as actual video content, we just roll with it and we just sit and talk to camera. We're very much podcast style on these videos, and I know a lot of you people like it. You know, let me know what you're doing down below. I love to hear people saying what they're doing when they're listening to this content. I mean, some of you chilling on your sofa, stuff like that, but I love hearing that people do like long train rides once a week or something and put me on. Or some nice lady one time said that she was cleaning out her yard and picking up sticks and it was a horrible job, but she put me on in the background and it made it all right. So I love hearing what you guys get up to when you watch these videos. Anyway, we're digressing from the point as per usual. Here we go, 203 for an enhanced box. That's really cheap for an enhanced box of Mega. If you don't know from my US viewers, enhanced boxes of both Mega Evolution and Journey Together are a lot rarer here in the EU, whereas in the US it looks like you've just got mainly enhanced boxes. That is a good price to buy in at if you're in the UK at the moment. I do believe in Mega Evolution going forward. Let's then move on to one of the big boys, Destined Rival. In fact, he is the big boy of Scarlet and Violet. Last week, he overtook Paldea Evolved as the most expensive booster box in the era, which is kind of funny because so many people talk down on Destined Rival, and everyone that talked down on Destined Rival actually didn't talk down on it. They were like, yeah, it's a great set, but like, don't buy it for $220. It's going to be retail. Those people are very quiet right now. Destined Rival is holding just below that $400 price point. And considering a lot of the market is having a bit of a winter cool off, the fact that Destined still being such a new set, holding at around about that $400 range just shows how strong it is and shows how much demand there is for the sealed product out there, especially the booster box. Last week it was averaging on the price charts of $383. Last sale is $360, so a little bit lower, but then another sale this morning right on that $400, $397. So prices are a bit all over the place. They're kind of ranging from the $360 to the $390 range. We're just going to say that it's holding strong at around about this $380 range on the averages. Let's have a look at eBay. Last sold, there you go, last sold on eBay US from this morning, new listing tag as well, so bought out straight away, a nice minty box for $395, which is currently $5 more than Paldea Evolved, because Paldea Evolved is going for that $390 kind of range on the secondary market. Really strong to see what is still fairly new recent set going for that $400 range, and really starting to show what the potential for this set is going forward. Let's then have a look at last prices in the UK. I was going to say something more about the people who told you not to buy at $200, but we'll just leave it there. We will. Last sold in the UK 320 quid, right up there at all-time high prices, within striking range of them. Let's then talk about Prismatic. Again, these same people that told you not to buy Prismatic when it was $100 because it's going for retail, it's going for sub-retail. We were screaming at people to buy it when it was at that $100 range, and now it's starting to creep up in price, and it's just holding at about this 130 range. Last sold 130, 130, 130, one selling for 140 this morning. 140 is right up there at all-time highs. I think that Prismatic is still incredibly underpriced at the moment and will perform very well over the long haul. It's got some of the best cards of the Scarlet and Violet era inside of it, and they are quite hard to hit cards as well. So Prismatic, very good buy as well. We've been saying it for a long time, and it's climbed right up there to its all-time high prices at around 130 to 140 range. Last sold on eBay US, new listing tag 130, and then another sale from yesterday at 120. 120 is a really good price for it right now. Here's another one going for 144. Like I said, that's $22 off on that one. Oh, that one, eBay randomly does this when you sort by date. Look, November 3rd, 144. Very weird. Okay, let's just look at this then. 120, and then last sold 130 on the buy now. I still think that's criminal to buy into Prismatic for like 130 is still probably one of the safest buys right now for quite an affordable price, in my opinion. If you can't afford the Elite Trainer box, the bundle's not a bad buy either. And then if you can't afford the bundle, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe look at like some sleeved packs of Destined or something like that. I don't know. Last sold in the UK, 135 quid on a buy it now, and then you're seeing the difference between an auction and a buy it now. The auctions are going for 120 again, 125 with postage, so you save yourself what, about 8% between a buy it now and a stalked auction. So yeah, another sale there for 135.90. That seems to be the going price in the UK, and it's right up there at all-time highs as well. I do think it will follow in the footsteps of 151 and push up to that $400 range, but it's going to take time, and that's what people really lack in this hobby, is the understanding that the normality in the market is for it to take years to see serious growth. Okay, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. That is what is normal, and we need to get back to that mindset. Okay, hype cycle always just like warps everyone's mind, and just people start expecting 10% gains every single week. Okay, that's not sustainable. Realistically, I do think it will go to the $400 range, Prismatic ETBs, but it's going to take 2 years for it to get there, at least, probably more. But yeah, I'm quite happy to hold Prismatic for the long haul, 5 years, 6 years plus, just because it's a great set, and I think everyone kind of agrees that it is a great set. Let's then move on to Journey Together. Journey Together has had a bit of a fall from grace with this cooling off period. Last week it was averaging 237. This week last sales 240. Okay. So we're actually up $3, which is again within the 1-2% normal market swing. So it's kind of holding where it is at that 240 range. However, look, the average prices are dropping and falling just because it was obviously averaging up there at like 260. So we were seeing sales as high as like 270, 280 in October. We did say it was a bit overpriced at that time. A lot of people disagreed with us. But now we're seeing it correct down to around about that 240 range. I don't think 240 is a bad price range for Journey to move into Journey at that kind of price point. Again, it's one of those sets you're going to have to put away for the long haul. The market is very divided on Journey Together. Half the market love it, half the market are a bit not so sure on it, and that's why you see Journey Together having a bit more of a reduction than some of the other sets like Destin and Prismatic and stuff like that. Destin and Prismatic are a bit more of a sure thing than Journey, and when hype starts getting taken away, people tend to keep their money in the things that they're more confident in. And there are a lot of people that are out there that are confident in Journey Together, but there's also a lot of people that aren't as well. And that's what you need to bear in mind when you're investing, is that you need to think about the market as a whole rather than what you particularly think yourself. I don't think it's a bad set. I think it's a slightly above average set. Journey Together, I think it will perform well in the long haul. Again, $500 plus a box. I think that's easily achievable given enough years in the market, and I'm talking years, not months here. Okay. Last sold in the US 250, not too bad. I think that that's kind of a fair price, 240, 250 for Journey at the moment. That's an enhanced one as well. So if you can scoop a nice enhanced one and you're a fan of Journey Together, I don't think that's a bad pickup. If you can get anything sub 250 for an enhanced, I think you're doing well. But just expect that in the short term, over the next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you could see prices go down 230, 220, that kind of range. That's why we always say be prepared to hold for at least 2 years, because it just irons out any of those ebbs and flows in the market, because the market does ebb and flow. Okay, 250 isn't going to be the floor of Journey. You will get sales below it over the next few months. I'm pretty confident. Let's then have a look at the UK. Like I said, the UK non-enhanced version is a lot more common. They are now selling at 178, 177. This is low, guys. That is not that much over retail. You're talking what? Just over 20 quid over retail. Free postage on it as well. The guy's paying a few quid on postage on that too. He's eating fees. After all's said and done, you know, he's not getting back much more over retail for what he bought that for. Not a bad time to move into Journey, especially if you're in the UK. There's some good deals, but these enhanced boxes where they're so much rarer over here, look at that, 270. You've got 100 quid price difference. 100 quid is about $130 swing between the enhanced and non-enhanced. It's very risky to pay these higher prices here in the EU for the enhanced boxes, because the boxes are exactly the same in the US, and it wouldn't be too difficult for people to start arbitraging the other way and start selling US boxes over here if they know they can get a lot more money for it. So I'd be cautious if you're in the EU or the UK buying the enhanced box for such an inflated price compared to the normal. Anyway, let's move on to Surgeon Sparks. Surgeon Sparks, I said Surgeon Sparks was massively undervalued last week because it was one of the cheapest boxes on the market, and I don't think it deserves to be there. I think that Surgeon is a top 5 set out of the Scarlet and Violet era. There is still some out in the wild over in the US, and we actually saw a bit of a price correction to the upside over the last week, which is kind of what we called should happen. Last week it was averaging 220 a box, which just seemed really low for it. Last sale's 240. Another 2 boxes going this morning for 250. There's another one going for 230 there. So if we average all that out, that's about 240. I think even at 240, that's a steal for Surgeon Sparks. I think that it will perform really well over the long haul, and it is a bit more of a fan favorite set compared to something like Journey. So to see Journey and Surgeon at a very similar price point, I would much rather move into Surgeon. I think that Surgeon is a bit of a sleeper set, in the fact that I think that a lot of people are neglecting buying into it right now and are going to regret it. So much of the hobby's focus right now is on the new stuff, looking at Mega Evolution, looking at Phantasmal, stuff like that. I think Surging is actually really undervalued at the moment. So yeah, it's up, what, about 8%, 9% over the last week, Surgeon. Maybe that was the floor last week. It'd be nice if that was the floor. Last sold in the US. Look at this, 220 a box for a nice sealed one. I think that that is a really good buy, and that just screams to me that that person is dumping just to move into other product or just move out of Pokemon completely. Not in it for the long haul. 15 feedback. Just not got the staying power with Surgeon Sparks, that seller, in my opinion. And there's lots of people in the market with that kind of sentiment, and that's where we're going to see the lower prices over the next couple of months. If you're willing to buy these kind of products and you've got faith in them and you believe in them and you're willing to put them away for a couple of years, I think that 220 is such a good price point to buy into Surgeon. If I had more money in my Pokebank and I was living in the US, it would be a very difficult decision for me to buy another Phantasmal booster box or to buy a Surgeon. I think that a lot of people will say I'm stupid for that, and obviously Surgeon's the play because it's older and they're going to print Phantasmal into the ground, and Phantasmal's a short set. I can hear the comments already, but like I said, I like Phantasmal, but also Surgeon, that's a crazy deal, and I think a lot of you will agree. Lots of deals out in the market right now. Last sold in the UK, 248 quid. Again, not too bad of a price here in the UK, in my opinion. Let's then talk about 151. We briefly talked about 151 when we were talking about Prismatic. I do think that 151 kind of paved the way for where Prismatic is going to go. And you can make an argument on everything. Oh yeah, but there was a lot more Prismatic printed and all of that. Yeah, well, I think Prismatic's a better set than 151 personally. That's not to say I don't like 151. I love 151. I own the Sunzard. I own sealed 151 Elite Trainer boxes. I own so many 151 bundles. When I say stuff like that, I'm not saying that I don't like the other set, and I'm not saying that I'm not invested into it. I think people read way too much into when I say if I like a set or not. They get a little bit emotional about it sometimes. But it's funny to read. So last week it was averaging 401. This week last sales 382. But if we actually look at last sales from last week, let's have a look. It was like 15th, 16th last week. So it was going anywhere between 360 to 370. So we averaged that at 365 last week, which is a little bit cheap. And now we're up to 382. So really, if you compare the actual sales data, we are up what, $17 or something. I think that is more just the fact that it was holding at this 400 point for a long time, and it was kind of agreed that that was the price. And then when we saw a bit of a cool off in the whole market as a whole, you know, you were seeing sales down as low as like 360, and people like me, people like some of the other viewers on this channel, just know that 360 is just a discount on a $400 box. We all kind of agree that 151 will go back to $400. There's no one arguing that, do you know what I mean? So if you're willing to have that staying power, then you can pick it up for a discount right now. Last sold in the US, look at this, 350. Now this is just one sale, but this is what I mean. If you know your prices and you're not scared of all these videos saying Pokemon market's crashing and all of that nonsense, if you just block out that noise, that is $50 off on what is clearly a $400 box. Now, it might take another month, 2 months, 3 months for it to go back to $400. But I think that most people that will be buying in on this $350 range understand that they're not going to be just holding it till it's 400. Okay, if you're buying a 151 Elite Trainer box now for 350, chances are you're holding it to over 500, probably more. You might be holding it till it's $1,000. Just my opinion. PC ETBs come down a bit as well. 761, a little bit of arbitrage there from the UK. There we go. There's the real price US to US at $900 for the PC ETB, right up there at all-time highs. Some people doing very well out of that. Let's then move on. Last sold in the UK, 312. 312. Interesting. Another one on an auction for 317. I just thought 312 on a buy it now was a bit cheap for the UK. Seen them go right up to, what did we see at peak at? Something like 360, 380, something like that. 312. Not a bad buy if you've got the confidence and the kind of money to put into a set like that. 151 is a really good set. I don't think they'll make any more of the ETBs. I think that boat has left, and I think that the fact that it's cooling off in price a bit is just a great opportunity for people to buy in when they haven't already, or just add to their bag if they want more 151. Paradox Rift. It's really hard for me to talk about Paradox Rift without trying to sound like I've got an ego, because we called it. We called it when it was up here, when it was 325. We said it was massively overvalued. Lots of people hated on us for saying that, and we saw a massive price correction down. We completely called it as it was happening live here on the channel. Let's have a look at prices. I won't say anything more on it. $233 last week, $235 this week. It's just flat. For those kind of prices, you're talking bottom of the market, Scarlet and Violet. Like I said, cheapest thing I've seen this week was Surgeon go for 220. So Paradox is right down there as well, 235, right down there with Journey as well. I can't say much about Paradox other than a lot of people like it. It's in an earlier print block, so it will go out of print or faster than temporal. But I don't put too much into that really when we're talking about sets that are essentially average to below average. And I know people are going to get mad at me for saying that it's a below average set. Okay, give it the benefit of the doubt. It's an average set. It's not a top set of Scarlet and Violet. It's not a top 5 set. It's not a top 3 set or something like that. And I think a lot of you will agree it's not a top 3 set of Scarlet and Violet. And I think that's when print blocks really come into their own and become, obviously they matter with less desirable sets, but they matter a lot more with the big sets. When people are like, oh wow, 151 is officially out of print now, or Destined Rivals is officially out of print now. That's when it has the real impact, the print blocks. So I personally wouldn't read too much into that. Some people will be convinced and make plays off of the letter of print block that it's in, but I mean, you can get more. I mean, the people who loved it at this price at 325, you should be loving it even more at 234. You should be buying even more into it and doubling down. Great opportunity for you, I guess. Okay, I take that back. Paradox Rift is now the cheapest box in the Scarlet and Violet era. Last sold in the US. Lot of 2 selling for $402. That's $201 a box. 201, guys. $200 booster box. Paradox Rift. But apparently I'm stupid when it was 360 for saying it's overvalued. Now you can nearly get 2 for 360. Okay, let's move on. Last sold in the UK, 156 quid. Just a hair over retail. Here's another one for 150 with only £3 postage. What's that? A tenner over retail? If that. Cheap. People wanted retail price product. There you go. There's some Paradox for you. Would I buy into Paradox? Personally, not. There are a lot of people that believe in it. Great opportunity for you here to buy in, especially if you're in the UK. I think it's got more room to fall though. Not in the UK. Retail is fine for it. But in the US, I think that you could be dropping down to retail as well. That $170 range, something like that. I think it's coming. But I don't think it will really drop below retail. So you're actually, if you believe in Paradox for the long haul and you really, really want to invest into it, I'm not saying it won't perform well over the long haul. What I'm saying is your money could be better suited elsewhere. But this is a really cheap price point to buy into it. Let's just move on. Temporal forces. Now, it's funny because when Temporal and Paradox were similar prices, and then Paradox started pulling away, I said that it was the wrong way round and that Paradox should be lower and Temporal should be higher. And now we've actually seen that play out. However, as much as I've been promoting Temporal forces, and I do own a lot of Temporal forces, I'm not trying to inflate my own bags, I do think it's overvalued for where it is now. Even I agree this is overvalued for Temporal. Last week it was averaging 271. This week it's last sold 272. But then look at this, the sale before it, 297. There's another one going for 300 this week. 300, 2 boxes, 1 box for 300. Look at this sale. 4 boxes at 300. That's Temporal forces at an all-time high. And it is technically in a later block than Paradox and all sorts. But I do think that Temporal is a little bit overpriced at 300. I think it should be closer to that 260, 270 kind of range. And especially when you're seeing Surgeon for like 220, that just makes Surgeon look even more attractive as a buy for me. Let's have a look at prices on eBay then. Last sold in the US, 250. That's about where I would expect market to be. Let's see if we can see any more. 270. See, that just seems a little bit high to me. And then look, one on an auction here for 230. I think 230 is a really good buy for that. But yeah, I would place it at around about that 260 kind of range. I think that 270, 280 is a little bit too much for Temporal at the moment, even though I like Temporal. Last sold in the UK, look at this, on an auction, 157 plus postage. I mean 10 quid postage. They're milking it on postage a little bit. But yeah, still fairly close to retail price on Temporal in the UK. Let's try and find another one. Here we go, 152 with 3 quid postage, so 155. That's bang on retail, guys, for Temporal forces. And it's not the most recent set that's out. In the US, you know, TCG players pushing 300 a box, so not a bad product to buy into for that price point. You can't really go wrong for something that's that close to retail. Now, I know that's an auction, so you're going to have to stalk it on auction, but there you go. Look, from yesterday, buy it now. 161. That's not bad. That's very close to retail. Good opportunities to buy into stuff that people aren't super certain on. Let's then talk about Obsidian Flames, or as I like to call it now, Phantasmal Flames 1.0. We should call it that. We should call it that from now on. Last week it was at $291. This week it's multiple sales at $300. Lots of sales at $300. Yeah, holding strong at that 300 range with an all-time high up there on the averages at 333. So another 10% that it could grow, still within its all-time high range. I like Obsidian. I just find it so funny because so many people mocked Obsidian when it came out, and it was available for sub-retail for so long. All these Pokemon YouTubers said it was awful. And now it's $300 a box and holding while everything else is cooling off. And so many people are saying Phantasmal Flames is... it's saying it in a negative way, that it's Obsidian Flames 2.0. Like, I wish. That'd be great if my retail boxes of Phantasmal climb up to $300 before it's even out of print. I would love that. If you see anyone saying that, comment, Just have a little chuckle to yourself about how ridiculous that comment is. Last sold in the US, $290. Like I said, holding right up there at that $300 price range. Last sold in the UK, 211 on an auction. 203. Buy it now. That is a really good deal for Obsidian. Again, people aren't really looking at it. Especially when the ETB, like, I get it, okay, the promo's going for 30 quid. But come on, guys. The normal ETB is going for 135 quid. These were everywhere for sub-retail on release. 135 quid for an ETB with a £30 promo. All right, take the promo out. You're paying 9 packs, 100 quid. Or 36 packs for 200 quid. 200 quid for a, like, if I see, okay, I'm going to say it now. If I see another Obsidian Flames this week, because I'm getting paid, well, next week, getting paid next week. If I see another Obsidian Flames in that £200 range, I'm buying it. So if you guys here want it, you're going to have to fight me for it on UK eBay. Paldea Evolved, let's move on. Paldea Evolved, bit of a fall from grace. Was up there in October at that 470 range, knocking on the door of 500. Corrected down, cooled off a little bit. Now it's number 2 most expensive boxes of the era. Destined Rivals has overtaken it. Last week it was let's see, 367 on the averages. Now it's going for 396, but let's see what it actually sold for last week. Not that many sales, about 10 sales over the last week. So it was 390 last week, and it's now going for 396. So it's up 2%, but obviously it's down from its all-time high, like 476. Like, I'm trying to do quick maths in my head, and it's just not working. So it's down over $113, 113 on 470. I can't do that in my head. Let's calculate that. 113 on 470. Yeah, so it's nearly 25% off of its all-time high. But yeah, chilling right up there at nearly the most expensive box in Scarlet and Violet. It's within $5 of Destined Rival. Last sold in the UK, in the US, $390 on an auction. Now, it's very close to taking its crown back this week. I think the last Destined Rivals was 396 or 395. So they're very close and neck. And obviously, Paldea's got that potential to climb back up to its all-time highs, whereas Destined is kind of at its all-time high. Well, it's not, but it's within that range. Do you know what I mean? Paldea's got more room to bounce back. And it's also a lot older as well. Paldea is SVO2, I think, so the second set of the Scarlet and Violet era, so it's getting up there in age. It will go out of print much sooner than Destined Rivals. I personally think Destined Rivals is going to pull ahead in the long haul. Once you zoom out 5 years, 10 years, I think that Destined is going to be a lot more expensive than Paldea Evolved, but we'll just have to wait and see. I wonder whether I'll still be making these videos for you guys in 10 years from now, or whether I'm going to be retired and sat on a beach somewhere. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I won't even be around then in 10 years' time. Maybe I'll have been taken out by the Pokemon cabal. Let's then talk about last sold in the UK. Let's hope that doesn't happen. £315. Paldean Fates. Paldean Fates on discount. Has been for a little while. Last week, average prices $239. This week, $250. So it's actually up, what, $11, something like that, which is about 3.5% to 4%. Still should be back in this range. Should be knocking on the door of $300. Do I think that it will fall any further? Have we reached the floor of it? Maybe. Maybe not. I think we're close to the floor if we haven't met there yet. It's just too strong of a set with that Bubble Mew. I think Bubble Mew is going to hard carry it into a $500 plus ETB given enough time. Let's then move on to the Sword and Shield era, otherwise we're going to be here all day. Let's talk about the big boy. Evolving Skies has been cooling off over the last couple of weeks, but it's still selling for a decent chunk of change. Last sold on TCG Player. We've got two sales over the last week. Last sale, $2,100. The sale before $2,250. Let's have a look at eBay though. Last sold on eBay, $2,100. There's actually multiple sales this week on eBay at around about that $2,100 range. Let's scroll down, find another one just to fact check. Oh, 2025. Close enough, within $75. Cheapest it's been for a little while, still over a $2,000 box though, and still the GOAT set of the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever metric you want to put it under. Do I think that it's going to be over $5,000 a box long term? Yes, probably much over that as well, but we're talking years again, guys. We need to really start shifting our mindset and understand that, yes, these boxes will continue to see insane growth, in my opinion, but we need to give it the time. And I tell you what, 2 years in this hobby really isn't long at all. 2 years goes by very, very fast. Last sold in the UK, 2,500 quid. That's like, okay, so 2,500 quid is a nuts price. And that's right up there at all-time highs in the UK. But just look at the range of insane prices from 3 sales on the same day from 2 days ago. Okay, we've got an all-time high of 2,500 quid, which is like, what is that? That's nearly 3,000 US dollars. That's nearly $3,500 US dollars. Is right up there. That's quick conversion math, something like that, between $3,000 and $3,500. So that's nuts for last sold. I wonder whether that went through. And then you've got one that only got one bid, and it went for 1,000. Probably didn't even ship for that. And then you've got another one, which is kind of where market should be at, which is 1,720. So whole range of prices. You know, if you're in the UK, take your pick. I'd much rather buy the 1,000 one, but I very much doubt that shipped. If you're really in the UK and you're really looking for a good deal on an Evolving Skies box, you should be paying anywhere from 1,600 quid to about 1,800 quid. You will get cheaper, the odd few ones here and there. Don't mess around with this $1,000 box. You'll just waste your money. You'll pay them. You'll get refunded, or you'll get shipped something that's not in the photo. Even if you do get shipped it, and they'll try and scam you. Realistically, you're looking at 1,600 to 1,800 quid. That kind of ballpark. You might be lucky and get one for like 1,500, maybe a little bit below. Long term, Evolving Skies to the moon. I've said that for a long time. Let's move on then to Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike, we've been getting some crazy deals on this, okay? Let me just be very clear. This is a $1,000 box. All day long. Not next week, not next month, not next year. It's already got there. It's already pushed that $1,000 mark. We've already seen sales right up there peaking at $1,200. This is a $1,000 box on sale all day long. Last week, it was averaging 969. Last sale, 874. Down heaps, guys. Down heaps, and for no good reason. Like, this is what I'm saying, guys. Hold it for at least 2 years. In 2 years' time, this box is going to be well over $1,000. So you're not worried. These are ebbs and flows in the market. It happens, okay? Look at this. Last sold in the US. New listing tag bought out straight away on a buy it now. $700. That's nuts. That is an absolutely insanely cheap price for Fusion Strike. I haven't looked at that one. I don't know if there's something wrong with it. That looks like a massive dump to me for $700. Let's try and find the next sale. Yeah, look, next sale on an auction from yesterday, $860. Even at $860, that's a good deal. When you start thinking of it as a $1,000 box, that is a good deal. Anything sub 900 is a nuts deal, in my opinion. I'm very bullish on Fusion Strike. I just want to point out for those of you that are new to the channel as well, I was calling on this channel, you can go back and look, for people to buy Fusion Strike when it was retail. Retail, guys. It's funny because I've spoken to quite a few people that I've met, that are other Pokemon people, via Instagram, that kind of thing, and quite a few people have been like, oh yeah, like I took your advice a year and a half ago and bought Fusion for retail, like now it's doing really well. It's like, yes, guys. I will always try and let you know the plays here on the channel. That's why you subscribe down below, to never miss an opportunity. If you've got the product, you've got the power. 660 last sold in the UK, right up there at all-time highs. Let's then talk about Lost Origin. Lost Origin, again, on crazy sale right now. Should be $1,000 box. Has never reached that $1,000 range. What did it peak at? Let's have a look. It peaked at 920 on the averages. Even at 920, I think it was cheap. It should have gone up to that $1,000 range. Now it's just mega cheap. Last sold 671? 640? Like, what are we talking about? Lost Origin is down heaps, but like, again, one of the best cards in the era. Got the Alt Art Giratina. Man, if I was in the US and I had unlimited resources, I would be scooping up as many $640 Lost Origin boxes as I possibly could. Lost Origin, there's no doubt in my mind that by the end of next year it's over $1,000 a box. No doubt in my mind at all. On massive discount right now. Last sold on eBay US 640. Another one here for 650. Another one for 700. It's just nuts, guys. It really is. I think anything under like 750 or around 750 is a crazy deal on Lost Origin. Last sold in the UK 537. Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars on the chart. Looks like it's down heaps as well. 418 on the averages. Last sold 460. With another sale there for 480. So it's actually up. So it's gone from 416 to 460. We're talking, what, 40, 44? $44 on 416. Let's calculate this out. Brilliant, back up 10%. This should be $500 plus. The fact that it went beyond 500 comfortably in September and it pushed up to that 550 range, it should be 500. It should be glued to that $500 price point. Market is cooling, does have more room to bleed. However, that is an insane price. There's no way it doesn't bounce up over $500 in a short amount of time as well. Less than a year, I think it would be well over $500. And once it starts pushing over that, I mean, it's out of print. People are just going to FOMO into it harder, and it's just going to start pushing 600, 700, 800. There's no way that it doesn't over the next year, in my opinion. Last sold in the US, 450. Two sold for 450. Actually, that's not two. That one's a German one, selling for 450. I wonder if that person realised they bought that as a German one. But yeah, 450 on an auction there for an English one. Crazy price, guys. That is over a $500 box all day long. Lots of deals in the market. Silver Tempest. Let's have a look at Silver Tempest. Last week it was let's see, 442. Last sold 455. So up $13, which is about 4%, just under 4%. Again, should be pushing up this $500 range within a few months' time. Start of next year, I think we'll be recontesting all-time highs on Silver Tempest. Last sold in the US, $355. It's just looking mad cheap, guys. $355, really? For silver? Last sold in the UK, $373. Crown Zenith. We're going to finish off with Crown Zenith. Their chart's been broken for a little while. It's back up this week. Let's see, last sold last week. It was at 190, dropped below that 200 price point. Now it's back up to 200. So it's up another 5%, back up to its $200 range. I still think that that's an insane buy even at the $200 range. People were telling you not to buy in it, but not to buy into it when it was $100. Crown Zenith should never be $100. I remember when it was in Costco for $60. You start sounding like those old people that are like, I hiked 20 miles in the snow just to buy a loaf of bread. That's what you start sounding like when you say things like, and that wasn't that long ago. That was what, just over a year ago? People were saying don't buy it for $100. Now it's pushing all-time highs at that 200. It's right back up there. Market's cooling, but Crown Zenith is within 10% of its all-time high. Great buy in my opinion. Right, let's finish off with something different. As we always do, we like to clear the air, talk about something else. We're going to talk about the Phantasmal Flames UPC because I think it's quite insane. I think as a product, it's really, really cool. If we look back to the previous Charizard UPC, the white one that came out in the Sword and Shield era, God, that's a long time ago. How did it perform? The original Charizard UPC came out the gate really expensive, way over retail, $200 plus. And then they just printed it and printed it and printed it and printed it. And then it wasn't doing that well and prices came down to really, really cheap. Like, what was the cheapest it went to? Like $100, $120, something like that. Anyway, dropped down a lot because they printed a lot of it. And then even when it was really low, then they printed it some more. And what you need to understand about what Pokemon Company has done in the past is it really likes overprinting UPCs. And part of the reason why they like overprinting UPCs is because of this. Okay, this is a blurry photo, but look, it's the range of packs. They can print a product that reduces the single price for multiple sets at once. It puts more supply on the market of multiple sets. And the actual pack selection in this, it's actually really good. You got 4 Phantasmal, you got 4 Mega Evolution. Let me zoom out a little bit so I can see it better. 4 Phantasmal, 4 Mega Evolution, 4 Destined Rivals, 4 Journey Together, and 2 Surgeon Sparks. There's no set in there that's a bad set. You could argue that Journey is probably the worst set there, or equal with Surgeon. You could argue either one. But then there's only 2 Surgeon packs. But there's 4 Journey packs. But there's 4 Destined Rivals. And there's 4 Mega. And there's 4 Phantasmal. It only takes a couple of these sets to start pumping over the next 2 years for the value inside of this UPC to really explode in price. And it's not just that, the promos are doing well as well. Let's just have a look at price, okay? Look, 210 last sold this morning in the US, okay? Yeah, we're way over retail, okay? But look, again, sold this morning. You get this promo, the Charizard promo, go for $91. That's not asking price, that's sold price, $91. You also get this Acario promo, last sold $40. Okay, so we're already getting $130 worth of promo cards right now if you cracked it open. So 210 minus 130 in promos. Now I'm not saying you're going to get that much, I'm just looking at the potential value in the box. So everything else in there you're getting for $80. Okay, playmat, dice, all of that kind of thing, that has a value. Okay, that playmat, you're easily going to be able to sell it in a little while. Once the market cools down a little bit and these get a little bit rarer, it's a nice playmat. You're easily going to be able to sell that for $10. Okay, yeah, you're going to have to pay shipping and all that. I'm just giving you round numbers. Okay, $10 to be generous. So now you're paying, oh, what am I doing? Minus 10. Now you're paying $70 for those packs. Potentially. For 4 Phantasmal, 4 Mega, 4 Destined, 4 Journey, 2 Surgeons. That's insane. So how many packs is that? 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 packs of some of the best sets that have come out. Okay, let's just divide it out. Divide it by 18. You're paying $3.88. You're paying sub retail for a pack selection that includes the 2 newest sets, Destined Rivals, which is way over retail. Good luck trying to find retail price packs of Destined Rivals. Journey Together, Surgeon, all of these sets, even now, are over retail. All of these sets, if you want to buy a booster box or whatever, or an ETB or whatever you want, good luck finding that for retail. You might be able to find some Phantasmal Flames for retail out in the world, but again, it's no guarantee. For me, the value is here. $210 for that UPC. And I wouldn't crack it. I wouldn't crack it and sell the promos and stuff. Yeah, this Ikorio promo is probably going to drop in price. Yeah, this Charizard promo might drop in price, but the Charizard promo might not. Like I said, 4 of the best cards in that set. This is one of them. The UPC promo. I think this is going to be very desirable in the future. Very desirable. Let's have a better look at it. What a beautiful card. Really is, in my opinion. Really, really cool. I think the UPC is excellent value. I really do. I managed to get one for retail. Very fortunate. I might scoop some more. I'm never usually a fan of picking up UPCs because they're a pain to ship. They are a pain to store because they're bigger. But for that kind of price, it looks like there's a lot of value in there. And like I said, with that pack selection, once Surgeon goes out of print, once Destin goes out of print, let's look even just 2 years from now, never mind 5 years, 10 years where this is going to be. Let's look 2 years from now when all of those sets are out of print. Phantasmal's out of print. You're going to have Mega out of print. Destined Rivals out of print. Those 3 sets alone in that box, I think are going to carry that box hard. Very good opportunity. Very cool sealed product to have in your collection. Not only is it a good investment piece, but it's also a good collection piece too. These things look insane. Absolutely insane. I would pull mine out, but it's in a storage box in the back. I don't dare even have it loose in my room in case I knock it with something and tear the seal. Okay, it's a minty box. It's staying well protected in its little storage box. I might look at buying some more. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Please do hit that like button. It really does help push my content out there further. If you really want to support and donate, I have the Join Club down below. One of the perks of that is I will connect with you on Instagram and basically answer any of your questions at any time of day, unlimited. That really benefits people who are going to be buying a lot of product over a long amount of period of time, because I can help guide you into buying the best products. I can help show you auctions, etc. But I'm not trying to push that. Okay, that's just there if you want it. The real thing I'm trying to push is the like button. Please do just like the video if you made it this far through. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. If you've got the product, you've got the power. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.